We have a 2019 Cx-5 Mazda pulling up to the shop. This client is also going to get a radio upgrade for his vehicle because the screen is too small and he definitely wants a lot more features and functions. Look at that tiny little display. So you guys know I put timestamps in my videos. You guys can go ahead and skip over into the showcase if you guys are just interested in that. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to install this this Android radio because it's a little more difficult to install than other radios, just because of the kit panel that it brings. In order for it to look flush, it gets a little confusing there. But yeah, ooh, I see that that's a little loose. Maybe we can fix that as we're installing the radio. But yeah, Mazda 2019 Cx-5 and the corresponding generation are compatible with this radio. But first, let's get this radio out, and then I'm gonna show you guys the new radio that we're installing side by side. All right, so let's get it started. All right, so to remove this radio is actually fairly simple. All you have to do is remove this first panel here. There you go. Go pull towards you. On this side, boom, that's it. You don't have to disconnect that if you don't want to. I'm not going to. And then we can stick our fingers in here, pull towards you. Like I said, it's all clips. Tug on it with the right amount of pressure and it will come off. There you go. There you go. Now there are some plugs behind it that we do have to disconnect. I think I actually am going to disconnect this. There's a tab on the top. You push that tab down, pull upwards and outwards. Comes off fairly simple. Put this aside. And now I want to be able to see the plugs behind here without scratching anything. Same thing, there's a tab at the top of this plug. Push down, pull outwards, and I think that's it. Put this aside as well. Make sure not to scratch anything. And then there you go. Now you can take off the radio. You have to remove this 10mm, this 10mm, that Phillip, and this Phillip. So those 4 screws hold in the radio, and then you're able to pull it out. So let me get those out of the way. Come on, why are you being so difficult? There you go. All right. And now you have some plugs that you have to remove. This one, they all have a tab on the top. They all have the same idea, so just push that tab down and pull the plug outwards. Same thing with this one. Pull the tab down. These gray ones are a little harder to get to. They do still have that tab at the top. You push that down and it will come off, but your fingers, my fingers are too fat. Not sure if you guys are gonna be able to get to that, but I did use like a flat head to push that down and it comes off very easily. But yeah, let's go ahead and put this radio on the table right next to the new one. And here they are side by side. This is the factory one and this is the new one that we're installing. As I mentioned, it does come with its own kit, so it looks like it's factory flush, as if it's meant to be there. It even comes with its own the bracket. See how this one has a bracket? The Android radio also brings itself one, just so it's, like I said, factory flush. You don't want it to be sticking out, having any gaps, between the dash panels. You want it to look factory, as if the vehicle came with this radio. So I already brought the harnesses inside the vehicle. I just wanted to show you guys a comparison. Obviously this one has a lot more features, so we're going to go ahead inside the vehicle and start installing the harness. Alright, so I'm going to be installing the harnesses for you guys, so hopefully you guys can follow me step by step by watching the video. Now this vehicle harness actually comes in a very confusing manner. You may look at this harness and not understand it. It even comes with this as well. See what I'm saying? Like it looks scary when you first look at it. It's like, what the hell? All this is supposed to go behind the radio? Correct. But believe it or not, the radio isn't this. This was simply just a display. Now, yes, you're still going to plug in some of these plugs for power, ignition, and all that. But the radio is actually somewhere else. But we'll get to that. That's why the wires come a lot more longer than other radios do. All right. So first, let's plug in what's important, which would be the, let's see, where's my power harness? Okay, so the power harness is always located by the black plug. All right, so you can see you got 3 plugs here. One of them is this small one is supposed to connect to the back of the radio. once I untangle it, of course. Hold on, give me a second, guys. There you go. Alright, so this power is gonna go on the small one, if I'm not mistaken. There you go. See how that plugs in nice? This one is longer, so I would assume it'll go on here. Yep, there you go. See how everything is plugging in nicely? This goes to the radio. What else? I think that's all we have to plug here. And then you get your backup camera out of this same harness. You get your backup camera here. And then there is your antenna. This is going to plug into the back of the radio. Now, the radio is actually located in the passenger footwell. So what you have to do is you have to pass these cables, this harness, through this gap here. There's like a whole bunch of space. Run it behind the glove compartment, and then behind the glove compartment you are gonna run it towards the passenger footwell where the passenger's feet are at. And then it's better if I just show you guys. It's a better way to explain it. So give me a second. Let me go ahead and disassemble everything just to give you guys a better look. You don't have to disassemble everything. Do it how it's easier for you, but I'm gonna just do it just to show you guys. I'm gonna try to not make this too confusing. It's actually a very easy job, but it's just more work. But just because it's more work doesn't mean it's hard, okay? So, as I mentioned, we have all of this extra harness. This is gonna be run towards the passenger footwell. All right, so give me a second, let me throw this aside. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna run it from behind the radio, and then it's gonna go behind the glove compartment. You push these two pins in. There you go. It drops down a little more. Let's see if I can get it through. There you go. Just like that. It's actually fairly simple. Alright, don't pull it too much because you do need a lot leeway when it comes to the harness behind the radio. And then this is gonna go behind the driver footwell. I keep saying driver, it's passenger footwell, so by the client's feet. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this behind the glove compartment, and I'm gonna try to reach from under, see if I can catch it or something. Matter of fact, let me just remove this whole glove compartment to make it easier for me. And then I'm gonna find, ooh, yeah, there's a gorgeous space back there. See that space here? It's in my hand, my fingers. I'm gonna run the whole harness from here, zip tie it, and then drop it down, and I'll meet you guys when I do that. So that's the kind of idea that you're looking for. So from behind the radio goes behind the glove compartment, and you want to zip tie it to a couple of harnesses and plugs and brackets so it's not dangling, and it'll probably, if you leave it loose, it'll probably fall into the glove compartment eventually. And you don't want that. You want it to look as clean as possible. And believe it or not, look, that is what you need to connect to. That's the radio. That's it's either the radio or the amp. I'm not sure. I'm not a Mazda expert, but the radio works with this. Or the display works with this, because I know, I've tried it, is if I pull that display out, audio will stay, it'll still play for like 30 seconds and then it'll stop, because the audio is not coming from that display, it's coming from here, which is why I call it the radio, but I'm not really sure what it is. But that's what you're gonna have to connect to in your radio FM. Your antenna is actually here as well. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna lay the camera here, that way it looks up, and then I can show you guys what harnesses you guys need to tap into. Alright, so these are all uniquely shaped, so it's kind of impossible to plug in the wrong plug. Just be careful, you don't want to force anything, it should go in very simple. So first off, the first one here, this gray one, that one's going to be your radio FM. That's where your radio channels are at. So we take that out, and then we're going to plug it into the blue one, the blue and black one that goes into the gray plug. That's going to go here. Plug that in nice. Worry about making your connections first, and then we'll clean it up with zip ties and, you know, make it more organized in the end. But focus on just connecting your harness. And then, like I said, it's hard to plug in the wrong one. So I think, if I am not mistaken, it's gonna be this first one. Let's see. If I'm wrong, then we can just plug it back in. Nothing bad happens. So let's go ahead and remove this. There you go. Let's see if it plugs in. Nope, it is too big. All right, so it's probably the one above it. So plug this one back in. If these wires get out of my way, of course. Okay, so that one's plugged back in, and then there's one more above it. Let's get to that one. This one right here. See the one I have in my hand? We're gonna see if this one plugs into there. It does. Make sure it clicks. And then since it's a T-harness, you do have to plug this one back. So we're gonna go ahead and where we removed the first male, we're gonna plug this one back in. It's a very tight area to work in, but it's doable. It's doable. Okay. I should zip tie my harnesses so it's a lot more organized. Give me a second. Untangle it. Okay. Now I have this huge maroon one, but I don't have that huge plug, so I could be wrong, but I think we don't need that one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we don't need that one. I don't have that plug. I don't have anything to disconnect to plug into there. So for now, we're gonna leave it like that, and if I do need to connect this, I'll come back to you guys. But as of right now, I do not believe so. Let me go ahead and zip tie this so it's not as ugly looking, so it doesn't look like a spider web. So time forward to that. Boom. So that looks a lot more cleaner. You don't have to make it clean just because, yes, it's hidden behind the panels. I do it because it's my job too. But yeah, there you go. That's a clean job right there. Now I can put the panels back. I'm gonna put everything back here. I'm gonna put everything back, the kick panel, the glove compartment, everything is gonna go back, and then we're gonna go back to installing, you know, behind the display area, behind the dash area. So let's go ahead and skip forward to that. Boom, as if nothing happened. Funnily enough, I forgot about this harness. So I have to go ahead and take all that off again and then run it towards the back of the radio. Same exact way as I did the other one. I was just supposed to do it twice because there's two different harnesses that connect to that module. So go ahead and get that done, and then I'll meet you guys back here again. Alright, so the harness that I forgot to run, just in case you guys are stuck, goes into the first plug that I said, oh, it didn't fit. So that's the first one. See how I unplugged it? See, it's empty. So that's the first one, and then you'll see that this one does fit. Let's see. Plug it into the female, and since it's a T-harness, that does mean that you have to plug in the male that comes out of the T-harness back into that module. See how that just clicks in right there? And then where's the male? This is the male. Why does it have two females if I already used up one? Confusion. Okay, let me just plug in this male. And I'm assuming, because I already plugged in everything, so I would assume that that female is also something that I do not need to use, just like that huge maroon plug. There you go, it's plugged in. I'm gonna go ahead and zip tie it up there somewhere, and then if I do need it, like I said, I will come back to you guys and warn you guys and say, hey, you do need this plug. But if I don't warn you guys, then it's probably because I didn't need it in the first place. All right, now that we have both connected already, both the long harnesses, this very thin but long plug is gonna plug into the CAN bus box. All right, so go ahead and plug that in. I doubt I can do it with one hand. I can't. There you go. That's what it should look like. The radio won't work without this connected, so make sure, or it could even be a troubleshoot option. If your radio is not working, then just make sure this is correctly connected. All right. So we have the backup camera. I think we're good. Now we can start running our accessories. I already ran my microphone, so that's my microphone up there from the corner, down the pillar, under the driver footwell. Put some zip ties on it, run it towards the top, zip tie the excess wiring, and obviously this is gonna connect to the back of the radio. Bro, I have to disassemble the glove compartment again, man. I forgot to run the SIM card connector while I was at it. So this is the SIM card connector that comes with all your RCAs, and then you also get extra USBs through this plug. I zip tied them together like this. The reason why is because they're both going to be ran to the glove compartment. This is just extra stuff that the client might or might not need. An extra USB for charging, and a SIM card connector if he wants to buy a SIM card and pay monthly so his radio always has internet. But that's the same idea. We're going to run it from behind the radio towards the back of the glove compartment. So let me get that done and show you guys what it looks like. There you go. The same way we ran the harness, the first harness, that's the exact same way you're going to run the SIM card connector and the USB. You don't even have to install this if you don't want to. Well, you do have to install the what's it called, the SIM card connector itself, but you don't have to run it towards the back of the glove compartment. That's completely up to you. That's the way I do it. There you go. So that's out of the way. What else are we missing? All right, so all that's left is to connect, if I'm not mistaken, your 4G connector and your SIM card connector. So this is the 4G connector. I already peeled the protective lining off, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find somewhere flat to stick it on. It doesn't matter where you stick it, just make sure that there's no metal above it. But yeah, we have the 4G connector up here, right? You can see the cable coming down from there, and then the GPS up there. You can see the cable coming down from there. I've seen a lot of people say that you have to stick it up to here or something like that. They're just talking out of their bums for real, because it's gonna be okay as long as there's no metal above it. You understand me? So it's better to hide it in there, and there's no difference. There's really no difference. So why not just hide it under where it's like, it's on top of that, it's perfectly safe too. You don't know, maybe stuff is moving around here, you might damage it. So always run your wiring from the inside the vehicle. If there's no metal above it, which there's not, this is straight plastic, your antennas are going to be completely fine. Don't worry about it. Let me see if I can go ahead and fix this for the client too. I see that this is loose before I put the radio in, but that's pretty much it for the radio. Now we can get to installing the radio, the Android radio. I think first we have to put the bracket in. Let me go figure it out. Now, one plug that we did miss was this one, but that's because it doesn't connect to the vehicle, not like the other harnesses that you connect to the vehicle. This one actually, I suggest that you connect it to the radio first. So it's the one it's the female for your original backup camera. That one goes into the first one. There you go, clicks in nicely. That's what it should look like. Alright, and then after you plug that in, this is what I meant when in the beginning of the video I said it's gonna be a little complicated, because so you have to run the harnesses through this panel, right? What you gotta run it through this panel, and then you have to run it to this panel, through this panel. See, there's a hole. See that hole there? You have to run it through that, and then you have to connect it to here. After you connect it, you now have to screw in. There are 4 holes behind the panel. See that? You either get the screws already placed into the panel, or you get them in a plastic bag. I get them in a plastic bag. They're 4 little screws. Like I said, they're either already in the panel, like inside the holes, or you get them in a plastic bag. So just make sure you don't lose those. So we're gonna go ahead and start plugging in our harness. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and scrap that part of the video. So I was gonna go ahead and try to show you guys how to do it, how to install the kit and then the case and the radio, because it is a little bit of confusion. It's actually quite a simple idea, but when you're actually doing it hands-on, it is a little confusing. But now that I noticed the video, like, I was struggling. So I mean, I wasn't struggling, but I was taking my time, and on top of that, I was covering the video, so that video is not really gonna do me any help. But it's pretty much done here. So what you're gonna do, look, let me try to explain it better. So the kit has a hole, okay? You're gonna pull all your harnesses from that hole. You're gonna pull it towards the case. The case also has a hole, not this one, but it has a case right here. See it where all my cables are coming out of? You're gonna run your cables through here. So you're gonna run from that hole into this hole, and then you're gonna start plugging in all your harnesses. Make sure everything works. You know, my backup camera is working perfectly fine. Make sure everything works. Steering wheel controls. The sound, of course, you wanna make sure that the volume is pushing. So that's working perfectly fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and start installing everything. So the 4 screws, I put them right there. What you're meant to do is you're meant to clip it into place and then simply just screw in those holes. See, 1 in each corner. All right, and don't worry about the harness being like loose here. Don't worry, that's not gonna be seen. It's gonna be behind the radio, so don't worry about that. Don't stress too much on organizing what's behind here, because you'll just have a harder time. So I'm gonna go ahead and clip it in, screw it in, and then start installing everything back together. But make sure everything works before you actually head into the next step. All right, so the radio is magically floating there. Don't mind it, but we're gonna go ahead and get the tiny screws. I'm gonna start screwing them in. Perfect. So screwing it in. Don't overdo the hole. It's all right. All right, now that we clipped the radio back in, we can start putting everything back together. So first is this giant panel. Okay. Man, I really want to fix this so the radio looks good, but I don't know what happened here. Yeah, no, I can't fix that. I don't know why it's so out of place like that. Alright, so let's just clip this in. There you go. And I think, wait, something's not right. This is supposed to go under. Let's see. No, something's not right here. Oh wait, is this supposed to click after? This video is a little confusing. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. It even confuses me. I'm assuming that this goes first, and then this goes second. Yeah, that's it. Why did they make it like that? There you go. Clip everything back into place. Oh, I thought I forgot to click it. Yep, it's plugged in. So now after this is all in, now you just, there you go. That sounded like it broke, but that's just the clips making the sound. But yeah, that's pretty much how it is. All right. Now let's put this one back. There you go. And that is the finished product, ladies and gentlemen. As I mentioned, the kit that it comes with makes it look like it's original. That way there's no gaps or anything behind the screen. But it is definitely an upgrade because now it's a bigger screen with a lot more functions. So let's go ahead and turn this baby on. Recuperating every single feature. Steering wheel controls, backup camera, nothing is lost. This is your new user interface. So you can go straight to apps. You can see what it offers, Chrome. You can check your weather on here, but you got to give it your location, obviously. You have Google Maps, Google. Oops. And obviously it comes with a Play Store, YouTube. That way you can start downloading more apps, Netflix, Prime Video. You pretty much just bought a brand new phone for the vehicles. That's the easiest way to think about it. So you're able to download apps. Everything you can download on your phone, you're able to download it on here. And that's why it comes with a SIM card. The SIM card that we ran to the glove compartment. So if you wanted to pay monthly so it has its own line and internet, you can. All right, so that's pretty much just what it brings. Radio, of course, you didn't lose that. So you can go into radio, and then we can We can go into radio, and then we can also put the volume up here. Steering wheel controls. Let's look for a station. There's a station right there. Only while supplies last. Shop for uniforms, backpacks, school supplies, and more right now. Oh, and in Jersey, you can also control the volume through here as well. So you have the option to control it here or here. Very simple. You guys already had a radio before, so that's nothing out of the world. But the reason you get this is to have wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and of course you can give it some Wi-Fi, which I already did. See? So once you give it some Wi-Fi, you're able to go to let's do go Chrome for now. It has YouTube, but the YouTube won't work because it needs an account to work with, a Google account. So, but Chrome doesn't need a YouTube. I mean, yeah, it doesn't need a Google account, so we can just. Okay, it wants us to put something in. Let's just put something like Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD's my guy, man. Nothing but heat from this guy. Let's see. What's a good video? What's a good video? A nice video that displays the colors. Lean With Me, one of my favorite songs. I can't play too much of it because now I'll just get copyrighted. But let's just go ahead and skip forward. There you go. See how fast it is? I skipped to a part of the video and it instantly loaded. I'm looking for trouble, so I know I'm gonna find it. Ring, ring, plug, hit my phone, perfect time, man. Man, that is such a good screen there, man. Definitely an upgrade from what he had before. And I don't think it's obscuring any vision. I know some people have the fear that, hey, man, this is a big screen, it's obscuring my vision. But that's usually because I filmed a video like this. So the radio is right in front. But the client's going to be looking like this. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's... I mean, it's there. I can't say it's not there, but it's not like a crazy amount of vision that's lost. The backup camera, you don't lose that. It's still there. It's on a bigger screen now, so you can now see more. And then I can also connect my phone, which I'm going to do right now, to showcase the wireless Android Auto and the wireless Apple CarPlay. The way it's done is you got to go through Bluetooth here, and then I have to connect to what's, let's see, Mazda Cx-5. Boom, and that's what it would look like with the Android Auto connected. So this is for the Samsungs, the Google Pixels, the Androids. And then obviously if you had an iPhone, then it would be wireless Apple CarPlay, but there is no need for an ugly USB coming out of your dash anymore. This looks a lot more cleaner, and obviously now he has the benefit of having a bigger screen. I mean, this is a 2019 vehicle, and you guys saw the original screen. It was like this big. Like, come on, man, you know, people want bigger, people want better. So now he has a lot more functions. You guys know what Android Auto is. You have your apps here. You have your ooh, the sexiest Acura TL in New Jersey pops up. Let me chill, let me chill. But yeah, you guys know what it is. You have your messages if people call you. You know, all that stuff is here. Your music, you can also control your music here, so you don't have to dig into your phone to change the music. Better than Bluetooth, so you can just hit next. You can even go full screen. There you go. So you can do a lot with this, and then obviously you can go full screen into the actual map. So that's pretty much a full showcase, or not a full showcase, because I think this video can do a lot more. It's just hard to cramp all that in one video. But that's just a simple showcase of what you get when you get... Let me lower the volume. I'm gonna get copyrighted. But that's pretty much a an idea of what you get with the Mazda Cx-5 2019 and the corresponding generations, of course. Backup camera works. Audio works, steering wheel controls work. You saw that the radio FM was still recuperated for those who still listen to that. Look at that. It just gives it a lot more, it gives it a more modern look. Isn't that just beautiful right there? Man, you guys know we do it best here at PMP Customs. If you guys have any questions for us or have this kind of vehicle and you would like to make an order, definitely hit us up using the link tree in the description. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one.